Have you ever prayed and heard nothing? You asked, you cried, you waited, but heaven seemed completely silent. In those moments, it's easy to believe that God has forgotten you. But what if His silence isn't rejection? What if He's preparing you for something greater than you can imagine? Today, let's remember one powerful truth. God is always working, even when you cannot see it. Think about Jesus. Before He performed miracles, before thousands followed Him, before the cross, there were years of quiet preparation. The Bible doesn't tell us much about those hidden years. Why? Because God often does His greatest work where nobody is watching. We celebrate public victories. God develops private character. Your hidden season is not a wasted season. It's preparation. Look at Joseph. He dreamed of greatness. But before the palace came betrayal. Before leadership came slavery. Before honor came prison. If Joseph had quit in prison, he would never have reached the palace. Maybe your current struggle isn't the end of your story. Maybe it's chapter 1. Look at David. God anointed him to become king. Yet after being chosen, he went back to taking care of sheep. Imagine that. You're told you'll become king, and then you're sent back to the fields. Sometimes God's promises take time, not because God forgot, because God prepares people before He gives them responsibility. Jesus Himself experienced suffering. He was rejected, mocked, betrayed, abandoned, yet He never stopped trusting the Father. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." Those words changed history. Faith isn't believing everything will be easy. Faith is trusting God even when life isn't. Many people think faith removes storms. It doesn't. Faith gives you peace inside the storm. Remember when Jesus slept in the boat while the disciples panicked? The storm was real, but Jesus wasn't afraid because the storm never had more power than God. The same is true today. The storm around you doesn't define your future. God does. Maybe you've failed. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you feel too broken for God to use you. Remember Peter, he denied Jesus 3 times. 3 times. Imagine the guilt, the shame, the disappointment. Many people would have believed their story was over, but Jesus didn't abandon Peter. He restored him. The man who failed publicly became one of the greatest leaders of the early church. Your failure doesn't have to become your identity. God can redeem what you've broken. The world tells you to depend on yourself. Jesus teaches something different. He says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice, He doesn't promise a life without burdens. He promises that you won't carry them alone. That changes everything. Sometimes we ask God to remove mountains, but sometimes He gives us strength to climb them. Strength creates character. Character builds faith. Faith changes lives. Never underestimate what God can do through someone who refuses to quit. The enemy wants you to believe that you're alone, that nothing will ever change, that your best days are behind you. But Jesus says, "I am with you always." Always. Not only on your best days, not only when you're strong, not only when you succeed. Always. When you cry, when you're afraid, when you don't know what comes next. He is there. There is a reason the Bible repeatedly says, "Do not fear." Fear shrinks your vision. Faith expands it. Fear focuses on problems. Faith focuses on God's promises. The battle often begins inside your mind. Choose faith. Choose hope. Choose trust. Again, and again, and again. Every sunrise is proof that darkness doesn't last forever. Every season changes. Every winter ends. Your difficult season will not last forever. Hold on. God is still writing your story. Don't quit before the miracle arrives. One prayer can change everything. One moment with God can restore years of pain. One act of obedience can open doors you never imagined. Never underestimate small acts of faith. God specializes in multiplying what seems insignificant. 5 loaves, 2 fish, thousands fed. Little becomes much when placed in God's hands. Maybe today you feel invisible, forgotten, unimportant. Remember this. Jesus notices the people everyone else overlooks: the lonely, the broken, the rejected, the outcast. If the world ignores you, God still sees you. You matter. You always have. So today, don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't stop believing. Don't stop trusting. The delay is not the denial. God's timing is perfect, even when you don't understand it. Walk by faith. Love generously. Forgive freely. Stay humble. Remain faithful. And remember, your greatest testimony may be waiting just beyond your hardest season, because with Jesus, hope is never lost, mercy is never exhausted, grace never runs out, and God's love never fails. If you're listening to this today, take one more step, say one more prayer, trust one more day, because the same God who raised Jesus from the dead is still working today. Your story isn't over. Your purpose still matters. Your future is still in God's hands. Keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting, and never forget, with God, nothing is impossible. Amen. Subscribe for Jesus.